Hi everyone, Kirk here with Kirk's Motorrad shop in Crystal Lake, Illinois. Today I'm going to show you how to change out the exhaust on an S1000XR. Customer brought this bike in. He purchased an exhaust system from Brazil. It's called Firetong, F-I-R-E-T-O-N-G. You can find them online. I don't know if they have a US distributor or not, but this guy got it shipped. He liked the look of it and maybe the sound. I don't know. Maybe he heard one somewhere. But we're going to find out what it sounds like and the way it runs as well. So if you're new here, I create a lot of do-it-yourself videos on how to work on the BMWs. A lot of my videos are on the LT model. This one just happens to be an XR. So hey, I'll work on it. It's a late model bike. I don't work on it. Really, don't work on the early stuff. The airheads and that kind of thing. That's for somebody else. So for me, I like to work on the newer stuff. Anyway, so this is going to be some performance work. We're going to change out this exhaust. Going to get rid of the original exhaust pipes and everything. We have to pull all that off in order to put. I'll just show you one piece of it here. This is the muffler portion and the pipe, and that's going to slide in right about where this converter is on this thing. It's going to be underneath the motorcycle. You can't really see it in the picture, but if you follow along, you're going to be able to see it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. That always helps us out a little bit. And if you want to help support me directly in the work that I do in creating these videos, you can do so through the links that are right down below in the description. Let's get to taking off this exhaust system. Alright, first thing you want to do now is you want to take off your cover. T25 bolts here. We got two clamps here, and you've got a, it's probably like a, I don't know, maybe a T30 or 40 or something back here that's got to be removed behind this. Okay, these are 13 millimeters. We'll loosen this up. This is a T45, and this will just slip off just like that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull off this black cover right here, which is where the exhaust valve is, where it opens and closes with volume. You know, I think it's for performance and for volume. This should be a T25 also. There we go. There's that cover right there. Don't lose your screw. Now we're going to pull off the bout-in cables that are on here. Just like a throttle cable. So you loosen up this 10 millimeter lock nut here, and you'll be able to loosen that up enough in order to get this one off. There's pretty high tension on this thing. It's not like you can just easily turn it. And I think it's also locked up in the mechanism wherever that is above here, and we'll have to remove these cables all the way, but this is where we're starting right now. We're going to pull off these bout-in cables, and then we'll be able to remove this part of the exhaust as well when the time comes. Roll that out the side, and that will give us enough slack that we can then feed it out the bottom down here. See, that's how that comes off. So just for future reference for the next guy, I guess, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this with a thing that just basically says it's the top one. This isn't going to go back on there, but in case somebody ever wants to, if somebody wants to sell this to another customer, or on eBay or whatever, they'll be able to figure out, oh, which one goes where. This one's going to be the top one. So there we go. Okay, bottom one's going to be the same thing. Alright, there we go. Now with those disconnected and out of the way, we will move on to the next portion here. Now we need to remove this lower fairing right here, this cowl. There's a screw right here, one here, and there's matching ones on the other side. And we're going to drop this part away and take it off the motorcycle. Take a note where those go respectively. There's a couple of small hoses down in here you need to take off as well. There is a screw that's right up in here, one screw that holds on this whole panel, and the rest of it is basically held in there with some push pins. So we want to remove this red part first, okay? And you can see on the other side here what it looks like underneath. So we've got the one screw that holds it on here, and then right here are the push pins that are holding on this panel. Now the way this comes off is it just gets pulled off. There's little, the push tabs are inside here. There's one up inside here, one here. So you just get your hands in there and pull away, and it will start coming off. See how it just pops right off of there? There we go. There we go. Okay, so that part, you can see how easy that comes off of there. When you put this back together again, it's a good idea just to put just a little bit of lube on here, whether it's you know, some grease or silicone lube. The next part we're going to do here is pull off this panel here. Keep an eye on what screws go where. That one right there has to come off. You need to pull this gas tank pad off right here. There's one center screw that's underneath the gas tank that pulls this pad off. So when you pull this screw off of here, there's just some little clip tabs that are underneath these areas right in here. Just get your fingers underneath there and pull it away. There we go. Down here, you need to pull that screw off. That one has a real short collar on it. Right up underneath here, you've got two screws that hold this red part on. Sorry about the shaky cam. I'm going to pull those screws off, and then that panel will pop away. So I can pop that thing apart. So let me show you what you're dealing with on this panel, just so you know how to get them apart. So right here, these two clips right here are those push clips, but they're a little bit difficult, so you kind of got to get in behind them and just take a screwdriver and pry against them, and they'll pop right off. Alright, once you do that, you can then start pulling off the those little other clips that are in here. There we go. And then the last one is this center one here. You just get your fingers in behind it, you just kind of pry away. So in order to get things moving here, you can see they're connected. So the oil cooler here, radiator right here, they're connected with two screws right here, some T25s. So this wire that's down inside here, this does need to come completely off. So this is the clip right here. It's just a little C-clip. You can pull on that even with your fingers and just pull that off of there. Just don't lose it. And then drop the washers off, and then you're able to dismount this thing. It's just on there with a pin. Okay, so now that's pretty loose. It's falling away. That's not going to be any issue now. And now we're able to get to the other one that's up here and be able to pull that one off, but we have to dismount the radiator too. Okay, there's our holder. Get that out of the way. Up at the top of the radiator, you got two more clips. You'll see them up there. Pull those away, and then the radiator will fall away a little bit. There should be enough slack and everything. If not, you can kind of readjust. You know, if you need to pull something else off, you may have to pull this overflow hose off of its spot so that you get enough room, just so it doesn't interfere. So just kind of wrap it around like that. And once you get those loose or off, you can pull the radiator. It should pull away, and that's going to give enough room. So don't pull too hard on anything. You want to make sure that you've got, you're not yanking any wires out. If you are, you need to clip the zip ties to allow for a little more slack. So at this time, I'm going to get a wrench in here and take out the O2 sensors. Now with the O2 sensors out of the way, you can pull off the nuts that hold on the exhaust system in the front. It's not going to fall off or anything. It shouldn't anyway. But we need to pull these off, and these are 12 millimeter 12 point. So make sure you've got a 12 millimeter 12 point socket in order to get these off. So the next part is going to be, I'm going to remove the two bolts that hold on the exhaust underneath on the back. So the bolt that needs to be removed is this one right here, that one, and there's one right on the other side of this as well, on the other side of that little arm there for the shock. Okay, hopefully with everything out of the way, I can get this thing down. There it goes. Well, as you can probably see, it's not clearing correctly. It's getting stuck on the sump right there, on the oil drain plug. So I think what I'm probably going to wind up doing, I'll fiddle with it a little bit more to try to get it out without changing anything. But I may need to put this on the paddock lift to get the center stand out of the way, and then I should be able to remove it. Okay, I put it up on my paddock lift. Was able to get this up out of the way. Now I should be able to pull this thing out of here. There we go. So the last thing I got to do now is do something with these. So what we have to do is remove these cables altogether. Now in order to get this unit off of here, where these cables are connected to the little actuator motor, there's a screw is right here, and there's one up in here, which I'll try to move the camera to better show that one. The other thing you can do is pull the reservoir, the brake reservoir, pull it out of its little holder and just let it kind of fall away. It's not going to spill or anything. Which one of you guys come over here and give me a hand with this thing? The things I do for you. You can definitely make out the connector right down there. So get a screwdriver in there and disconnect that. So you have to lift that tab and push the connector away. There we go. Okay, there's the unit right there. Now what we need to do is remove these screws and then pull these cables out. Okay, now you take these three screws off of here. These are T20s. You take this cover off. Just pull it out. Just pull it off slowly, because this is the motor. And you're just going to unwind these cables and pull them off of the holder, the little holder that's on there. Okay. You don't want to change this position on this. You don't want to turn this thing, because it will mess up with the computer. The computer will throw a code. Okay. Now we need to pull these cables out. Pry these out, and they'll come out. You'll see it when I demonstrate it here. There we go. Just pry out from the bottom, They're in there with a little holder. There we go. So we're just going to install this back together. So now go ahead and reinstall this. It's going to be the exact reverse of what you just did, and then we'll go from there. So that's how you get the exhaust all the way off, including the valve actuator.